Buddha's teachings, tolerance will help you overcome troubles and afflictions. Like a spider that slowly spins its silk to form a beautiful web, nature has created countless beings in this world. That beauty is boundless and infinite. When our minds harbor desires, we often think that if only we could attain them, we would surely be very happy. Yet when our dreams come true, our hearts feel strangely empty. Do you know why? The arising of desire is like yearning for something. Once you've obtained it, fulfilling that long-awaited dream, there is no longer that sense of longing that once filled your life, like water slipping through your fingers. Thus, there is no certainty in human life, right? Exactly. Let go of those illusory worldly desires. Forget about your own life and death, because clinging to them will not bring you any lasting benefit. Though you may fear the disappearance of this life, first deny its seeming reality, and then look for the self that is hidden within. How many people in this world suffer from material deprivations? Their lives are poor, lacking proper food and clothing, enduring all kinds of unfair treatments. There are also many people whose mental suffering is immense. Some even want to jump into a deep abyss. Why not pay attention to the beautiful scenery right before your eyes? Anything in excess, even joy, can ultimately lead to suffering. Therefore, we must maintain the middle way. That way, you will clearly see the true nature of all things and experience boundless tranquility. Because of ignorance, suffering arises, along with delusion, worry, greed, anger, arrogance, illusions, jealousy, fear. All these emerge from ignorance. Illusions can be two-sided, but if we abide in the middle way, neither leaning to one extreme nor the other, not letting the body starve yet not indulging in passion, then regarding our desires, we focus on the middle way. If we recognize that evil is merely an illusion, all afflictions will dissolve on their own, and we will immediately experience love and compassion. The essence of these two emotions is the same. Once felt, all resentment disappears. Toward those who treat us cruelly, we can still understand them, and when the door of wisdom opens, what remains is only tolerance. During meditation, if wandering thoughts arise, wisdom can help us discern truth from falsehood, discern self from others. But it's precisely such differentiation that leads our lives astray. People are often bound by emotions, and greed is what causes us to stray from truth in the cycle of birth and death, from the moment we are born until we die. We fear sickness and death, yet that only magnifies our ignorance and anxiety. Therefore, we need to eliminate all deluded thinking. Once we step beyond illusions, our lives are set free from confinement, entering serenity, stillness, and peace. The Four Noble Truths are four noble realities. The first truth, suffering is unavoidable and follows us like a shadow. The second truth, the root cause of suffering is ignorance, greed, anger, sorrow, anxiety, fear, despair, and attachment to self. The third truth, the cessation of suffering is wisdom, the understanding of the truth about oneself and about life. Such insight ends suffering and gives rise to inner peace. The fourth truth, the path to end suffering is the Noble Eightfold Path, sustained by mindfulness and awareness, leading to concentration and wisdom, liberating us from all suffering. What is this path? It is 8 righteous ways: right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. The Noble Eightfold Path guides our actions, and we ourselves are the Dharma. For countless ages, we have observed and blamed the faults of others, expecting sutras and scholars to purify them, like making offerings or sacrifices, for instance. But I affirm that the cause of all wrongdoing lies within ourselves, and likewise, only we can open the door to liberation. Suppose someone wants to cross to the other shore. What should they do? If a person uses wisdom, renouncing desire and ignorance, how could they fail to find the truth and the path of liberation? But if they rely solely on prayers or sacrifices, they will forever stand at the starting line, unable to move forward. The earth is our foundation, and the blue sky offers us a boundless space. Our physical bodies exist within it. What is called the supreme truth? It can only be experienced personally. Understanding oneself, recognizing that in your true nature there are neither thoughts nor desires, only by sensing and maintaining neutrality can you realize it. Once you grasp these things, you will no longer sense existence. Nothing is different, just like changing weather or leaves falling from trees in decay. Can we perceive this? Of course we can. Wisdom is everywhere, in the sun, the moon, the stars, the galaxies, this supreme truth. Everyone can possess it and attain enlightenment. As of today, I have undergone extremely difficult trials: desire, anger, illusions, greed, hunger. They all appeared before me, yet my heart remained firm and unshaken. I vowed that even if I had to sacrifice myself, I would still realize the supreme truth. In the end, I accomplished that ultimate truth. All things in the world converge into one entity, like an invisible thread we cannot see. If you diligently do good, like a flame racing ashore, over time, your good karma will accompany you from one life to the next, until the day of enlightenment. Conversely, if you do evil, you will endure the painful consequences over countless lifetimes. Thus, such actions form the cause of downfall. If you devote every moment of the present to proper mindfulness, maintaining equanimity and composure, you will find the middle way in your own heart, neither sad nor happy, transcending the endless cycle of karmic forces. Ultimately, you will realize the supreme truth. People are not making offerings to the monks. Is that right, venerable teacher? Can we go somewhere else for alms? Of course you can, but what is your reason for going elsewhere? If it follows you there, then what? No, venerable teacher, it's because the people in that village always sneer and insult us. Moreover, they mock and humiliate us, making us angry. If they came out waving flags to welcome you, would you feel joy and delight? Does that mean you have handed over your inner peace to others? External circumstances can unsettle you. They can also please you. If you still harbor anger, then you are far from attaining ultimate truth, venerable teacher. We understand your explanation, Master. I hope you always remember one thing. People have never easily welcomed anything new. You are challenging their old beliefs, so naturally they resist. First, they'll tease you, then hurt you. Next, they'll avoid you and pay no attention to you. But gradually they will accept you. You must undergo this transformation, remaining modest and patient. May I ask, I want to see Bodhi. What is Bodhi? This is my last hope, Venerable Bodhi. Please save my son. Give me back my son, I beg of you. Venerable Bodhi, please bring my child back to life. I can make the child live again, but first you must do something. Go to any house in the city and ask for a mustard seed. Yes, I will go right away. But remember, the house from which you get a mustard seed must be one where no one has ever died. Yes, all right, my child, oh my dear child. Excuse me, can you spare me one mustard seed? Yes, of course, but you only need one seed? By the way, has anyone ever passed away in your house? What? Who hasn't? My parents passed away half a year ago. I'm sorry, I cannot take a mustard seed from your house. All things in this world arise and pass away. That is the natural law. Regardless of age, intelligence, or ignorance, everyone must die. If we had told you this truth earlier, would you have believed us? The moon hanging in the sky is like this supreme truth. Each night it rises, growing larger day by day until it is perfectly round. After reaching fullness, it wanes until it disappears, only to begin its cycle again. But it never truly vanishes, it simply lies beyond our sight. Your child has not really died. He lives on in your heart. Yes, calm yourself, and you will understand. The nature of life is like a person's shadow. Suffering accompanies us all our lives. And the cause of that suffering is our attachment to external circumstances. I understand now. Nothing is permanent. How can I be free? The key to liberation lies in the transformation of the mind. Whether sorrow overwhelms you or joy floods in, you must remain composed between the two. Practice this, and the chains of suffering will be undone. You will then see the supreme truth. As your wisdom grows, you will realize that life and death, coming together and parting, are not two separate things, but one. If someone strictly follows a certain principle, in the end, they might lose their spiritual freedom and become rigid, lacking flexibility. If they blindly submit to prejudices, believing only their own faith is correct while dismissing all others, then the freedom of thought no longer exists. Only a single viewpoint occupies the mind, bringing about control and conflict. Resistance arises naturally, and blind faith, even having no faith, can still be a form of enslavement. Thought is a powerful energy. It can completely dominate you. But such rigid clinging is the greatest obstacle on the path. If you remain bound by it, the door to the truth cannot open. If people follow your teachings, will they still be bound in any way? What I teach is based on my own realization. My path is not a set of rules, nor is it scripture or philosophy. It's simply pure perception, and it is also the impermanent truth. However, if someone treats my path as dogma, then what? My path is meant to be practiced, not to rely on or worship, especially if one does not truly apply it. All my knowledge is like a raft. Use it to cross the river. Once across, would you carry it on your head, continuing on with that raft? There is still a feeling that stops me from surrendering completely. Emotions are divided into three categories: joy, sorrow, and calmness. These three types of feelings always reside in our bodies and minds. Emotions surge like flames and then subside into stillness. I believe first we should examine their intensity, understand them thoroughly, and find out from where they arise. Whether joy or sorrow, we should trace it back to its origin. Once we discover their source, we will realize that everything is empty. The emptiness we speak of is like the vast blue sky. Though it appears empty, it encompasses all things, like a large canvas of the mind. Keep going, relying on this, and you'll see those old flames gradually subside. The supreme tranquility emerges from deep within, unshaken. Observing deeply inward, we discover what is mistaken. The hardest thing to break is often the easiest thing to uproot. Ignorance is the root of all afflictions, and our insight comes from meditation. Meditation dispels ignorance. Apart from meditation, neither prayers, asceticism, fasting, sacrifices, nor any other practices can grant even a fraction of life's deepest mystery: liberation from fear, from worries about the future, from the sorrows of the past, and from dependence on or fear of our former selves. Another truth about life is that we become attached to certain people and possessions, yet in the end, we must lose them. From the moment you stop reaching out for someone's help, that is precisely when you achieve freedom. Please, Master, teach us the essentials for a householder's life. Marriage discipline. Equality is most important. Only when husband and wife love each other and live in harmony can that family truly flourish. This prosperity radiates so that everyone feels happy. The union of husband and wife should go beyond mere physical and material desire. The wife is part of the husband's being. The husband should respect his wife and protect her reputation, never embarrassing her in front of others. The wife should conduct herself according to the standards of a virtuous woman, while the husband should live up to his role, avoiding vices. Every decision the husband makes should consider his wife's aspirations. Loving your husband is also the wife's responsibility, seeing her husband's family as her own. She should serve as a loving harbor, caring for every family member. If husband and wife treat each other like honored guests and trust each other, the supreme truth will be theirs. Compassionate blessed one, please tell us what we should keep in mind to walk the path you have pointed out. Associate with the good. People who do not focus on right mindfulness easily make you lazy and undisciplined. Create favorable conditions for your practice so your mind remains pure and untainted. Your livelihood must also be in harmony with the Dharma. Whatever you do, be it trade or everyday chores, first understand them thoroughly, then give your all to finish them. Even cooking rice or boiling water should not be dismissed as mundane. Rather, see it as an opportunity to care for yourself, your husband, and your children. In any fortunate circumstance life offers, do not be selfish or live only for yourself. Share your happiness, success, and wealth with others. Avoid gambling and drunkenness. Cultivate humility, courtesy, friendliness, and integrity. Seize opportunities to make offerings and practice meditation, and you will dispel worries and difficulties. Finally, your mind will perceive the supreme tranquility. Remember this: each morning when we wake up, with the dawn of a new day, it's crucial to be aware of what we must do. People often forget to feel gratitude. One must keep in mind all that we owe, like the trees, flowers, wind, water, and air, which don't truly belong to us. Even more so, be grateful for everything. Always hold in your heart a sense of thankfulness. Live and think in this way, and you will reap many benefits. It's not in vain. If everything were worthless, we would all be ill and death would be close at hand, right? When we live with gratitude, it's like a splendid flower blooming in this world. For 5 years you have triumphed in what? I am leaving, not because of a victory, but because of what I have lost. Lost what? Yes, I lost my anger, I lost my greed, my envy, and my hatred. I lost jealousy. Thus I have nothing left, only calm remains. I see, so you mean you have become very peaceful, right? My child, I am living in rage, correct? That is what you say. Anger will cause you misery. It's just a few words of argument. Arguments lead to rage, and rage prevents us from reaching the truth. It's simply a way to shield ourselves. I am not angry. Good. Anger is like a spark of fire in the palm of your hand. You want to throw it at someone else, but before you manage to do so, your own hand is already burnt. Faced with the shackles of desire, envy, anger, ignorance, and greed, my fervent wish is for everyone to break free from them. These flames are consuming your life, destroying countless beings. In the midst of this great conflagration, trapping all living creatures, there is still a window open in your heart, like a doorway you can step through if you choose to listen. Anyone who comes near me will be safe if they follow me out of this sea of fire. The path of liberation lies right before you. Hatred never ceases by hatred. Only by love can it be quelled. That is an eternal law of nature. Venerable One, please show me the way out. I'm clinging to a pain that seems unbearable. Don't cling to what has passed, and do not dream of what has not yet come. Dwell in the present moment, and you will find release from suffering that seems unendurable. We are born into this great earth. All our feelings are suffering in this cycle of birth and death, filled with sorrow. But this world is not simply a haven for suffering. Rather, it is also the abode of the awakened ones, if only we learn to awaken from ignorance. Born of ignorance are suffering, worry, wandering thoughts, anger, greed, pride, arrogance, envy. Though life and death appear as two, in reality they are not different, they are one. We have been hindered by mistaken perceptions. Once we remove all obstructions, our entire life becomes independent, needing no reliance, free from hindrances. Morality, concentration, wisdom, and the Noble Eightfold Path can remove all such mistaken notions. Let me reiterate it once again. Right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. For a sleepless person, the night is endless. For one exhausted on the road, the journey is infinite. And for those dwelling in ignorance, unable to understand what the Dharma is, their entire lives are nothing but suffering and sorrow. Any form of knowledge you obtain, be it from your own reading, from what wise ones teach, or even from what I say, do not hastily believe. Use your learning and intelligence to examine it, then analyze and verify it through experience. Venerable One, if we should encounter you on the path of truth, then what? Even if you meet me, do not hastily accept it as ultimate. If you meet the Buddha, do not take that as the final refuge. Even if you encounter your own father, do not forsake the righteous path. Your life must rest firmly in your own hands. Do not depend on others. Even if your food is simple, with love, it can become delicious. To give wholeheartedly, your mind, your possessions, these offerings come from goodwill. Only greed, hatred, ignorance, and desire can defile us. If we toss dust at the sky remains undiminished, while the dust falls back on us. The sky is no different, like a father silently sheltering humankind. Throughout the ages, nature does not discriminate, so why do humans trample on one another? We all possess reason. Each person should realize their innate potential and reclaim their dignity. My path is a path of boundless love, welcoming all beings. The tears of all beings reflect their heart's tenderness. Our blood is the same color. It is humankind that creates false biases to oppress one another. Today I intend to do away with these illusions. Life and death are an inevitable part of humanity. Reflect well, be vigilant, don't get lost in desires. All the more so, you must live a life of peace, joy, and contentment. That is the Dharma's truth and the true meaning of life. Such truth neither arises nor perishes, neither begins nor ends, neither decreases nor increases. The only thing that remains is stillness, tranquility. Stillness, tranquility. You must remember, doubt is a deadly disease. It divides people, like a poison-destroying friendship. It is a thorn piercing to the very bone. Never forget that our thoughts shape who we are. I only point out the road. Your practice depends on yourselves. Monastics, the most fearsome enemy of a person is their own self. Whatever we do arises from our thoughts. Good thoughts give birth to good deeds. Bad thoughts bring about evil deeds. It is the law of nature. I have found the path to liberation. Now the gateway to blessings has opened. This treasure belongs to everyone. I want to awaken those still lost in darkness, to rouse their thinking. From ignorance arise suffering, delusion, anxiety, greed, anger, arrogance, illusions, jealousy, fear. These all stem from ignorance. Cruelty too is born of ignorance. Hatred, envy, foolishness, anger, and desire all arise from ignorance. Yet love, forgiveness, compassion, understanding, and humility also exist within each of us. Even in the cruelest person, there is kindness. Once they shed their old skin and become renewed, they can transform themselves. Humanity can, by its own efforts, change body and mind, like changing forms to begin a new life. Venerable One, in meditation, what have you attained? I have attained nothing at all. I have only distanced myself from hatred and escaped sorrow. I no longer feel anxiety. I no longer fear old age, and I have conquered death. Monks, what concerns me is everything. Good conduct is like a flame consuming a forest. The more fuel it has, the more it devours everything in its path, the bigger it grows. Evil conduct works in the same way. Anger, sadness, greed, and fear rely on the fuel within us to blaze continuously. The fires of hatred and greed keep burning until we break free from this cycle of birth and death. Suppose there are people who think only of material pleasures, trying to acquire more and more wealth, but end up binding themselves ever more tightly. They can never be satisfied. Their minds are worried day and night, wondering what to do if they lose their possessions. Meanwhile, if someone can cut off such attachments, they need not worry about the future or carry the burdens of the past. They will be calm, free, mindful in the present, abiding in the middle way, and ultimately experience true peace in this world. O people, open your hearts and let this vast sky shine in at every dawn, soothing and sweet in each cell of your body and mind. Be silently aware, for in a single instant of wakefulness, you transcend countless years of delusion. View life with childlike eyes, boundless in your love. Let go, just for a moment, and sit down while the crimson glow appears along the horizon. Life has for decades been filled with anxieties, but once we know true happiness is found within, we realize that to refine and clarify is to discover compassion blooming in our hearts. We come to love this world even more, embracing all sentient beings. For all living things share the same essence. Once the mind's delusion shatters like water droplets returning to the ocean, who knows, amid impermanence, a lotus may bloom in timeless peace. Pause your hurried steps in this world and quietly listen to your own heart. You may find that you no longer know where the boundary between heaven and earth lies. When a single lotus of the mind blossoms, the universe reveals itself, unbounded. If we open ourselves to selflessness, we will find inner joy blossoming. If we cling to self-interest, we swirl in restlessness and pain. Look deeply. Suffering arises from ourselves. Observe all beings around us. Understanding leads to compassion, so we gaze upon them with empathy. Everywhere, north, south, east, west is our kin. In such a life, there are no enemies. One of the many troubles humans face is demanding absolute perfection from others. Once we learn to accept that others are inevitably flawed, happiness arises at hand, allowing us to savor the present moment. Knowing that life is relative, our hearts grow tolerant, and we trust people in life more, with fewer complaints and disappointments. The basis of existence is its relativity. Between this person and that person, between this thing and that thing, between this world and another, between this life and the next. No one lives without dying, and nothing dies without reappearing in some form or other. Life is relative, so human existence is relative. Hence, no one lives in complete isolation, and no one is absolutely perfect. If you look carefully and listen deeply, even those you despise the most have genuinely likable qualities. Therefore, what you dislike about them is only relative. When we accept that life is never absolute, we stop our extreme hatred for those we deem unlovable. Likewise, we stop being blindly obsessed with or worshiping those we love. In short, when you can objectively look at reality, you'll find more comfort in interacting with diverse viewpoints and both likable or unlikable people. People have long imprisoned themselves in the jail of love and hate, of extremes created by their own minds. While we ourselves are not absolute, we still want everything around us to be so, and that's why we suffer. Once you realize this, may I ask, who can help you live more happily, think more positively, and act more objectively? Only one person, yourself. If you constantly remind yourself of this truth, you will find it easier to remain calm and comfortable in all interactions. Happiness begins to sprout only when we change how we perceive things from within. It comes only when we truly open our hearts. To be human, you may think it's easy, yet it's not so easy to inspire thousands of hearts to follow what is right or to control the tongues of the world. But being human is not really hard either. Keep a kind heart, be a good person, follow your own path, and you will find life is enough. No matter how well you live, there will always be those who praise and those who condemn. No matter how you appear, there will always be people who dislike it. Flowers have countless shapes and forms, yet they can still bloom and emit their fragrance. Humanity, too, comes in different ways of living. Instead of pushing each other down, why not lift each other up? Right or wrong, good or bad, often depends on perspective. The important thing is not to force uniformity, but to dissolve jealousy, stubbornness, and the urge to outperform others in our own hearts. Try offering people sincere kindness. Once the autumn arrives and you look around with a compassionate eye, this world will be brighter. Softening your heart sometimes takes only a gentle moment, like dust just brushed from your eyes. Suffering flows everywhere like rivers across mountains, yet tears can transform into mist, and life becomes beautiful when it comforts us. Offer others your smile, and the world opens, full and vibrant. Where there's love and understanding, heaven is everywhere. I choose to be good not because I'm foolish, but because I know goodness is our human nature. We cannot be cruel, for we would face our own retribution. I choose to yield, not out of fear, but because when we back off a little, storms can subside. If we yield a step, the sea is vast and the sky is high. I choose tolerance, not because I'm weak, but because people need to accept and make up for each other if life is to be complete. I choose silence, not out of ignorance, but because in the face of misunderstanding, anger, or injustice, if we open our hearts and don't keep score, everything passes more gently. I choose to forgive, not because I lack principles, but because letting go for another is also freeing myself. I can't let one momentary mistake erase everything. I choose honesty, not because I'm out of touch, but because living in truth is much more effortless than hiding behind lies and deceptions. Dishonesty doesn't lead to a beautiful outcome. Surely life brings many events that don't go our way, and we will meet people who betray us. If we can't forgive and let go, we'll find ourselves entangled in troubles. Among people, differences in values, knowledge, views, and upbringing often lead to conflicts. It's normal. At those times, forgiveness becomes a noble act, a sign of refinement, like an umbrella sheltering us on a rainy day. Forgive and forget a bit, be generous in spirit, accept a bit of loss. This is not weakness, rather it allows your journey ahead to be open and uncluttered. Life is like a sky, sometimes clear and pleasant, sometimes dark and gloomy. Life never grants us perpetual fortune and bliss. It can make us taste bitterness. So open your heart, practice letting go of the people and things that trouble you. Often the world doesn't care how much you've suffered or how you have struggled. People only pay attention to the outcomes you deliver. So when storms come, simply tell yourself that, eventually, after the storms pass, the sun will shine again. There's no point complaining, lamenting in front of others, for they likely don't care. Some things, when released, feel lighter. Certain people, when remembered, bring happiness. Some sorrows, once understood, make you stronger. Overthinking leads only to dead ends. Even the simplest matter, if overthought, can become complicated. If you keep a calm mind and open heart, all difficulties pass more smoothly. In life, there is gain and there is loss. When you give, you won't necessarily receive an immediate reward. Life operates in its own way. The future lies ahead. Just step boldly onward. Give yourself a pair of free wings. Leave behind pain and attachments to become a happier person. Forget the years and your age. Don't let time make you wither. No matter how old you are, as long as you feel young at heart, it's enough. Avoid being tempted by fame and wealth, for they are fleeting. Everyone desires a bit of recognition and benefit, then competes to get them. When they fail, they blame life for being unfair. In truth, an ordinary and simple life is the greatest blessing. When troubles weigh heavily, stay calm. Give yourself time and space to restore balance. Notice the tiny wildflowers along the road, small yet exultant, adding color to life. then the world suddenly seems brighter. In life, if there's profit, don't seize it all. Wealth can't be fully used up in one lifetime. Know when to stop. If you're right, don't press the other person until they have nowhere to go. Arguing about fairness can drag on forever, and winning can cost you your kindness and peace. Even if you are exceptionally gifted, never mock those less capable. Comparing people with people only causes mutual hurt. Comparing things with things often means abandoning something else. If you are too clever, others become suspicious. Too strict, resentment arises. Too arrogant, you'll be shunned. Overthinking leads to anxiety. Paying excessive attention is self-torment. Seeking too much leaves you fatigued. Only when your heart is at ease can the days be free and peaceful, and life truly worth living. Sometimes a harsh word can lead to a battle, while a single kind sentence can bring many good things. Persuading someone can require endless words, but sometimes only one phrase can ruin everything. Hence, every word deserves caution, and thorough consideration can spare you regret. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. If you observe only another's merits without criticizing, then anyone can teach you something to help you improve. Instead of being envious or admiring people from a distance, why not turn your gaze inward and learn seriously? Plotting and scheming for others to fail is useless compared to quietly striving to become stronger yourself. Looking back, many things that once caused us vexation or confusion now seem unworthy. Reflecting on what once brought immense pain is now as light as a breeze. Therefore, in all matters, do not be hasty or narrow-minded. Remain calm, reflect deeply, be open. There is nothing in this world that is truly impossible. Hence, many wonder why, in old age, some people's faces look so kind and benevolent, while others appear harsh and resentful. Because our appearance arises from our mind, it changes according to our inner state. When the mind is beautiful, the outward appearance becomes beautiful. Compassion can nourish our bodies. If our hearts are full of love, our every action radiates it. If our hearts are full of calculation and suspicion, we will always be on guard. Virtue is born of goodness. Intelligence can be a natural gift, but goodness is a choice. Goodness is the highest virtue of humanity. It may not always bring you everything you desire, but it keeps your mind stable. The mind is like a path. The more you plot and calculate, the narrower it gets. Better to expand the mind. A bit of openness in your heart paves a broader way. A house built well is not as valuable as a mind built well. Everyone who assumes a human body has some degree of good fortune, like a moon shining with some measure of blessed merit. Doing good is like a waxing moon from the 1st to the 15th day, growing ever brighter. Doing evil is like the moon from the 15th day to the 30th, gradually disappearing into darkness. How sorrowful is that? If you cherish your shining moon, let your blessings flourish like a moon from the 1st day to the full moon, ever brighter. How wonderful! The world is like a mirror. If your face scowls, the reflection scowls back. The fault isn't the mirror. Life is also a mirror. Smile, and the reflection smiles back. Therefore, don't hesitate to offer everyone a gentle smile. Life has so many sorrows. If you wipe the dust from your mind's mirror, you'll see the world is always bright, even if the outer surroundings are still hazy with fog. Everyone you meet is a mirror, reflecting life's lessons. If you keep love and understanding in your mind, the world becomes fragrantly wonderful.
Why is Venerable Thich Tuệ loved worldwide? When the Dharma is being severely distorted, turning Long Thang's transformation into a success, creating something from nothing to deceive people, causing them to lose faith and no longer care for large temples and statues, it is a great fortune for the Vietnamese people to welcome a future Buddha. Born in central Vietnam, Venerable Thich Tuệ, an ascetic monk, has brought the original Buddha's teachings to billions around the world, regardless of race or language. Although the religious beliefs of different countries vary, all welcome this ascetic monk with joy. In this article, Mind Podcast, Buddhism, invites you to explore why Venerable Thich Tuệ is so beloved worldwide through the details in the following video. Venerable Thich Tuệ appeared at the right time to spread the Dharma. Never before have we felt such a degradation of ethics and character within the Buddhist community, a place known for maintaining the strictest moral discipline. More and more temples are becoming commercialized, erecting large Buddha statues to justify revenue without ever disclosing it. Some monks and nuns break precepts, indulge in the 5 desires, then disrobe, taking hundreds of billions of dong amassed during their monastic life. Many high-ranking monks in the Buddhist church preach incorrect karma in Buddhism and openly suggest ways for followers to donate more frequently in meetings, using vulgar language in the temple. As Buddhists and citizens grow weary of the future of Buddhism in Vietnam, Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ emerged, sharing and spreading positive images and videos of his ascetic practice on social media worldwide. Practicing the 13 ascetic practices of original Buddhism, Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ is not a member of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha and does not belong to any temple, monastery, or hermitage. Some say Venerable Thich Minh Tuě's practice is outdated, but those who understand Buddhism recognize that his path is the most arduous and authentic. His belongings consist of 3 robes sewn from discarded fabrics and a bowl made from a rice cooker pot. He only begs for alms in the morning, eating 1 meal a day, and does not use phones or accept money in any form. Although a normal person might feel uneasy, Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ embraces it. On his journey from south to north and back, he is ready to accept all the good and bad that comes his way. Whether being attacked by ill-willed people or having the path cleared by kind-hearted individuals, he always maintains a cheerful face and a friendly smile. When asked about his journey, Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ humbly replies, "I will walk until I die and will travel to all parts of Vietnam." Because of his great vow, many sincere monks, priests, professors, lecturers, and lawyers from around the world praise him wholeheartedly. Among them is Venerable Thich Minh Dao, abbot of Minh Dao Monastery in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu province, who believes Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ embodies the spirit of Mahakasyapa, one of the Buddha's foremost disciples. However, some monks argue that his practice is a product of modern thought, seeking something unique and not aligning with Buddhist teachings. Therefore, they refuse to call him a monk. Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ anticipated such opinions and only identifies himself as a citizen following the Buddha's teachings. He addresses everyone as Khan, child, viewing them as his parents and siblings. Some argue that ascetics should practice in seclusion, but linguistics lecturer Nguyen Thanh Huy from Kinh Hoa University explains that Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ did practice in seclusion before stepping into the world to challenge himself. Facing material temptations and disturbances is a test of his mind. It may not be advisable to seek public attention in some fields, but in Buddhism, it can be beneficial. It allows people to reflect on the essential aspect of self-cultivation, rather than solely focusing on building temples or making offerings. Many might learn from Venerable Thich Minh Tuě's example of ascetic practice, courage, and determination. At its peak, thousands of people temporarily left their jobs to follow him, causing traffic congestion and pressure. Therefore, Venerable Thich Minh Dao urged people to simply greet Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ from a distance and continue with their daily lives, emphasizing that everyone possesses Buddha nature and can achieve enlightenment with determination and a steadfast mind. Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ began his journey from south to north on December 4, 21. Over 6 years, he has walked across the country 4 times. In early 2024, he started from Kinh Hoa province, traveling to northern cities like Hanoi, Thanh Nguyen, Cao Bang, Lang Son, Bach Giang, Bach Ninh, Hoa Binh, and Thanh Hoa. People increasingly followed him, volunteering to practice the 13 ascetic practices. The local authorities, wherever he passes, have had to mobilize traffic police forces to manage traffic and maintain security and order, supporting Venerable Minh Tuě's walking journey. As he travels deeper into the central provinces, the number of people from all over the country and abroad gathering increases exponentially. When he reached Thua Thiên Huế province, by the night of June 2024, Venerable Minh Tuě's journey had to be halted. Currently, Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ is in seclusion at Y To Commune, Y District, Gia Lai Province, where he lived with his family before ordination. Since Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ returned to Gia Lai, many charitable organizations and benefactors from across the country have come to Gia Lai to help disadvantaged families, lonely elderly people, critically ill patients, the disabled, and orphans. All these cases receive food gifts and some money for livelihood and living expenses. These are the blessings Venerable Thich Tuet generates through his day and night practice, benefiting the local people. Some narrow-minded people question, if many people follow Venerable Thich Tuet's alms rounds, who will grow rice and produce cloth for clothing? Interestingly, why don't they ask Professor Ngo Bao Cho that if everyone did mathematics and studied like him, who would grow rice for food? Certainly, doing math doesn't yield rice. Why don't they ask musician Dun Tai Sun that if everyone played music all day, who would weave cloth for clothing? Surely, a skilled musician wouldn't produce any cloth. Why don't they ask football player Quang Hai that if he played football all day, who would defend the islands and maintain public order? They don't understand that societal roles naturally distribute, with each person having a suitable mission. Venerable Thich Tuet is fulfilling his mission excellently. We all have our unique missions in this world. The sincere ascetic practice of Venerable Thich Tuet. Before a monk embarks on the path of monasticism, regardless of the religion, they seek to find the truth to perfect themselves according to their faith. No one initially determines to practice to save all beings. Humility prevents them from thinking that way. The first task is to overcome hardships to seek the truth for themselves. The ultimate truth is realized after one's life ends. In each practice, every person and religion has its own faith. Venerable Thich Tuet practices to learn, to train his health and self following the Buddha's teachings, cultivating both ethics and mind and wisdom. Venerable Thich Tuet wants to follow the practice of Buddha Shakyamuni. He fears that if he doesn't practice now, after losing his physical body, he won't have the opportunity again. This thought alone shows Venerable Thich Tuet's dedication and absolute faith in the Buddha's path. He attained enlightenment as soon as he comprehended this. He worries that life is too short to fully learn and practice. This realization alone is enough to show that Venerable Thich Tuet is a rare, genuine monk of this era. He has practiced this for over 6 years. This will undoubtedly be the lifelong path of his monastic life. Venerable Thich Tuet deserves to be a true disciple of Buddha Shakyamuni. Believe without seeing. At this moment, Venerable Thich Tuet does not yet dare to think about practicing to bring happiness to others. He only hopes to practice to repay the debt of gratitude to his parents. This faith and filial piety have helped Venerable Thich Tuet achieve both ethical and filial practice. His humility has helped him achieve virtue. His renunciation of material things, fame, and desires, eliminating greed, anger, and delusion, has helped him attain peace. His ascetic practices over the past 6 years, eating 1 meal a day and walking tens of kilometers, studying and meditating under trees, in abandoned houses and cemeteries, have helped Venerable Thich Tuet eradicate suffering. These factors combined are enough for Venerable Thich Tuet to achieve sainthood and become a future Buddha. Millions of Buddhist followers worldwide hope that in the near future, Venerable Thich Tuet will appear as a fully enlightened Buddha. He will embody all the principles and methods to teach current and future disciples. His mission is extremely difficult and arduous, but Venerable Thich Tuet's glory is immense. To help Venerable Thich Tuet quickly attain Buddhahood, it is essential to have the support of the Vietnamese government, the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, and the Vietnamese people. Firstly, the Vietnamese people should not neglect their work out of curiosity to follow him. Quietly greet Venerable Tuet from afar and send the best wishes to everyone. Do not use social media to curse, criticize, or compare monks and other religions, creating bad karma. Do not exploit Venerable Tuet's fame for business or profit, as this is truly sinful. Respect and protect Venerable Thich Tuet as a future Buddha, a national treasure, which includes each of our own blessings. Secondly, the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha should reflect on some monks and nuns to see if they are adhering to the precepts, preaching correct teachings. Do not rush to criticize an ascetic monk who does not accept money or use a phone, while your practice is still clouded by wealth and fame, still using cars, phones, and limited edition watches. Do not be sad when temples see reduced donations, as this will purify and enhance the Sangha's reputation, removing those who falsely practice for personal gain. Reduce unnecessary temple construction funds to build hospitals, schools, and help the poor. Manage the monks in the Sangha following Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ to prevent bad elements from disrupting his practice. Respect and protect Venerable Thich Minh Tuê's freedom to practice, assisting him on his path domestically and internationally. He is a treasure of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, reviving the truth of Vietnamese Buddhism, making it known to billions worldwide. Thirdly, the Vietnamese government should provide the best security to ensure Venerable Thich Minh Tuê's safe practice. He should not be hindered anywhere in Vietnam, as he will be a national treasure in the near future. Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ is attracting many domestic and international tourists, benefiting the country and localities. Appreciate Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ for achieving what the Ministry of Culture and various agencies could not. He spreads values of love, ethics, sincerity, and combats falsehood, creating a positive energy wave in the Vietnamese people. This is truly precious. The feelings of the people when they receive the positive energy from Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ have never allowed us to clearly distinguish between right and wrong as now. Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ has only appeared for a short time, but he has helped us awaken and realize many things. Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ has brought the pure light of Buddhist Dharma to illuminate the deepest corners of the 3 regions of the country. He has helped us learn about the 5 precepts of Buddhism, gradually let go of greed, anger, and delusion, and reduce the pursuit of fame and materialism. Although everyday life still has many difficulties and hardships, every time we look at his example, we feel more peaceful, satisfied with ourselves and our lives. We have learned to care for and share with the less fortunate, knowing that giving brings more joy in life. For the first time in our lives, we know what ascetic practice truly is. Just a simple vegetarian meal, yet he receives it with such joy, bringing us overwhelming happiness to the point of tears. Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ always wishes everyone peace and happiness. He has shown us the true path to follow, to practice, and to achieve liberation in this very life. The positive energy of Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ has spread across the planet. Therefore, many poets, musicians, and singers in the country and the world have been inspired to create and sing songs praising an ascetic practitioner. Sculptors have also devoted all their efforts to carve statues of various sizes and dignified appearances of Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ. Artists, both domestic and international, deeply admire his virtue. They have painted portraits with various materials of a rare ascetic monk. Fashion designers, inspired by him, have designed various outfits and bags similar to the robe that Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ often wears. We thank Vietnam with its 1,000-year-old culture for distilling and embracing the quintessence of the Lakhon lineage to produce an outstanding ascetic monk. That is the ascetic practitioner, Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ. Sharing about the ordination journey of Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ. Sentence 1. In mid-July 2015, while working, I happened to hear about Buddhism. I vowed to eat 1 vegetarian meal a day, read Buddhist scriptures, and observe the precepts for 6 months. Sentence 2. I realized that the purpose taught by the Buddha was very noble, so I wanted to become a monk and decided to ordain. Sentence 3. At first, my parents did not allow it, but later they agreed. My parents shared the inheritance with me, like my siblings, but I refused. I only asked them to sign the papers allowing me to ordain. Sentence 4. When I first started studying, I didn't understand much. I was like a first grader, then a second grader, gradually learning more. People also guided me, and I began to understand more. Sentence 5. I studied at the temple for a while and was given the Dharma name Thich Minh Tuệ. Later I found it unsuitable for me, so I left the temple. I went up the mountain to practice alone in a rock crevice, begging for food daily. Sentence 6. Although the Buddha did not mention it, I chose to sleep sitting for 3 years now without lying down. I sleep sitting to give up sleep. When I'm too tired, I lean against a tree or a wall. Sentence 7. After staying in one place for a while, I felt I had no opportunity to face challenges related to greed, anger, and delusion. So I decided to walk from the south to the north and back again. I don't dare say when I will stop. Sentence 8. I want to keep my old Dharma name, so I say my name is Thich Minh Tuệ instead of my secular name, Lian Tu. Sentence 9. Before becoming a monk, I had a job like everyone else. But I wasn't happy because I realized that no matter who has a job, is a public servant, or has a stable life, they all get sick, grow old, and die alike. I would be like them. Sense 10. I want to learn the profound, miraculous teachings of the Buddha, the ultimate meditation, wisdom to escape suffering and achieve peace and happiness. Sentence 11. I follow the Buddha's teachings to find peace and happiness, not because I know it myself. I haven't entered meditation yet because I'm still learning. Sentence 12. I became a monk to seek liberation. Only when I attain enlightenment can I repay my parents' kindness. Sentence 13. Every day, I only beg for one vegetarian meal to sustain my practice. I don't store, save, or ask for more. Sentence 14. I absolutely do not accept money, gold, or any items from anyone in any form. Sentence 15. The clothes I wear are self-made from fabric scraps I picked up from cemeteries or roadside dumps. Sentence 16. I don't wear clothes similar to other monks or say which temple I'm from because I don't want to disrespect the monks and temples. People might accuse me of exploiting or doing wrong, and I don't want to affect them. Sentence 17. The bowl I use for receiving food is made from the inner part of a rice cooker someone gave me. It is not the bowl of venerable monks. Sentence 18. Life is impermanent. We could die anytime, so I must become a monk early. If I die tomorrow, I won't have the chance to practice anymore. Sentence 19. Someone asked if I see anything while sleeping in the cemetery. Saying I don't see anything wouldn't be true. Sometimes I see a black shadow passing by, but it doesn't affect me, so whether I see or not doesn't matter. Sentence 20. Now I see everyone as my brothers, sisters, and parents. Sentence 21. I no longer have selfishness or hatred. I see all people in the world as equals. Sentence 22. If people scold me, I still see them as friends. Sentence 23. If someone hits me, I still wish them all the best. Sentence 24. I wish everyone happiness. Sentence 25. Before I had the intention to practice true enlightenment, it was fine. But once I had the intention to practice, everything came to test my patience. Beatings, scoldings, illnesses, to see if I could overcome them. Can I conquer the four sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death? For example, illness comes first to see if I'm afraid of it. Sentence 26. People shouldn't learn fortune-telling because it's partly right, partly wrong. The Buddha didn't teach fortune-telling. Moreover, if they were talented, they would have foretold their own fate. Instead of learning fortune-telling, people should learn morality, precepts, and try to keep the 5 precepts. No killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no alcohol, and they will be happy. Sentence 27. Keeping the precepts is the first important thing in morality, concentration, and wisdom. Without keeping the precepts, one cannot become a Buddha. Sentence 28. Being vegetarian while keeping the precepts also leads to success in Buddhist practice. Sentence 29. People offer me both vegetarian and non-vegetarian food. When eating, I only choose vegetarian food. Sentence 30. People shouldn't bow to me, but should bow to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Sentence 31. I don't call for or set up a team to follow and film me, but I don't drive them away either. Sentence 32. If filming me benefits them, I wish them happiness. Sentence 33. For me, everywhere is a temple, so I don't mind why one temple is open and another is closed. Sentence 34. I walk instead of riding to train my health. Sentence 35. I walk barefoot to feel what's under my feet, to avoid stepping on insects and creatures. Moreover, shoes wear out faster than my feet. Sentence 36. Anyone who has nothing valuable is happy because they have nothing to worry about keeping. Sentence 37. I have nothing, so I'm not afraid of being beaten or killed for my possessions. I'm not afraid of death because I have nothing worth living for. Sentence 38. Someone asked if sleeping in a leaf hut in the cold forest is as comfortable as in a closed room with warm blankets and soft beds. I said it's still comfortable. According to the Buddha's teachings, you sleep well anywhere if you don't have lustful thoughts. Sentence 39. Reciting the Great Compassion Mantra must have a purpose. If you want peace and read the mantra to drive away demons, you handle them cruelly. I don't want to take anyone's place or peace, so I don't learn the Great Compassion Mantra. Sentence 40. If someone speaks ill or scolds me, I don't get angry. I wish them good luck. If someone speaks well or praises me, I stay calm, not letting myself be arrogant, and I also wish them happiness. Sentence 41. Praising or criticizing me doesn't matter, but I notice two attitudes. Those who give me food are happy and joyful. Those who scold me have red faces and seem unnatural. Sentence 42. I am not a monk or a teacher. I am a Vietnamese citizen like everyone else. I just want to learn to practice. I don't aim to propagate or teach anything. All of the Buddhist teachings are available online. Sentence 43. When I attain perfect enlightenment, I will teach Dharma to everyone. Now those who want to learn can go online to listen to the monks' teachings or find them in the Buddha's scriptures. Sentence 44. We should give alms to elderly poor practitioners, offering them food, clothing, or something else. To those who have gone astray, we teach them not to kill, steal, and to live virtuously, keeping the 5 precepts. That is giving the gift of Dharma. Sentence 45. For the past 6 years, I haven't been affiliated with any temple. I am neither Southern nor Northern sect. I am not a monk of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha because I feel my ethics haven't reached that level. Sentence 46. Missing parents or not, we all die. Letting go to learn the Dharma is to die better. Summary of Venerable Thich Minh Tue's biography. Venerable Thich Minh Tue, born Lê Anh Tu, was born in 1981 in a well-off family in Qui Thanh Commune, Qui Anh District, Hà Tĩnh Province. In 1994, his family moved to Huy To Commune, Huy District, Gia Lai Province. His father, Lê Xuân, born in 1940, is a retired military officer, while details about his mother are not shared. They have 4 children. Venerable Thich Minh Tue is the second son. His eldest brother is Lê Anh Tuan, born in 1979. His younger sister is Lê Thị Sum, born in 1986. And his youngest brother is Lê Tin, born in 1988. All siblings were excellent students. From a young age, Venerable Thich Minh Tue frequently accompanied his mother to the temple to recite sutras and chant Buddha's name. He was always a diligent, filial, kind, honest, and outstanding student. After graduating from high school, Venerable Thich Minh Tue voluntarily enlisted in the army. He became an excellent soldier with the rank of sergeant and served as a platoon leader. After completing his 3-year military service, Venerable Thich Minh Tue studied at the Intermediate School of Forestry in Pleiku City, Gia Lai Province. Upon graduation, he was invited to work for a surveying company in Iak Khar District, Dak Lak Province. A noteworthy aspect of Venerable Thich Minh Tue is that from adolescence to adulthood, he showed no interest in women, unlike his peers. Besides studying and daily chores, Venerable Thich Minh Tue dedicated all his time to studying Buddhist scriptures, meditation, and ascetic practices. He spent considerable time learning about the 13 ascetic practices, which are rigorous practices to train the body and mind, helping individuals abandon afflictions, defilements, desires, anger, jealousy, and fame, leading to enlightenment and liberation. When the Buddha Shakyamuni was still alive, he transmitted the 13 ascetic practices to his chief disciple, Mahakassapa, as follows. 1. The practice of wearing rag robes. Wearing robes made from discarded cloth found in cemeteries or dumps. The vow is, I vow to refuse the offerings of robes from householders. I vow to practice wearing rag robes. 2. The practice of wearing 3 robes, keeping only the 3 robes allowed by the Buddha, the outer robe, the upper robe, and the inner robe. The vow is, I vow to refuse the 4th robe. I vow to practice wearing 3 robes. 3. The practice of alms begging, living by begging for food with a bowl. The vow is, I vow to refuse exceptional benefits. I vow to practice alms begging. 4. The practice of sequential begging, begging for food sequentially from house to house without choosing specific places. The vow is, I vow to refuse begging as I please. I vow to practice sequential begging. 5. The practice of eating at one sitting, eating only once a day and not eating after standing up from the meal. The vow is, I vow to refuse eating at other places. I vow to practice eating at one sitting. 6. The practice of eating from one bowl, eating only what is in the bowl, not taking other food outside the bowl. The vow is, I vow to refuse a second serving. I vow to practice eating from one bowl. 7. The practice of not eating after noon, not eating anything else after the main meal is finished. The vow is, I vow to refuse leftovers. I vow to practice not eating after noon. 8. The practice of dwelling in the forest, living only in a secluded forest, not in villages or towns. The vow is, I vow to refuse dwelling in villages. I vow to practice dwelling in the forest. 9. The practice of dwelling at the foot of a tree, living under a tree, not in built structures like huts, monasteries, or temples. The vow is, I vow to refuse places with shelter. I vow to practice dwelling at the foot of a tree. 10. The practice of dwelling in the open air, living in the open without any shelter or tree cover. The vow is, I vow to refuse places with roofs or trees. I vow to practice dwelling in the open air. 11. The practice of dwelling in a cemetery, living only in a cemetery. The vow is, I vow to refuse places that are not cemeteries. I vow to practice dwelling in a cemetery. 12. The practice of accepting any resting place, accepting any place designated by the Sangha without choosing a preferred location. The vow is, I vow to refuse the desire for a particular resting place. I vow to practice accepting any designated place. 13. The practice of always sitting, practicing only in the sitting posture, not lying down. The vow is, I vow to prevent the lying posture. I vow to practice always sitting. The process and opportunity for ordination of Venerable Thich Tuệ. After studying the ascetic practice of the Dhutanga, Venerable Thich Tuệ was very pleased and silently vowed that he would be able to ordain and practice. It was also his destiny with Buddhism. During his time working in Dak Lak province, Venerable Thich Tuệ often took the time to visit the temple, worship Buddha, and learn about monastic life. Inevitably, what was meant to happen, happened. During a surveying job, Venerable Thich Tuệ was unexpectedly struck by lightning during a thunderstorm. He fell unconscious. When his consciousness left his body for a few minutes, Venerable Thich Tuệ clearly saw the impermanence of human life. After regaining consciousness, Venerable Thich Tuệ was completely changed. He no longer felt interested in wealth, fame, or the conveniences of modern society. He only wanted to ordain immediately to seek enlightenment and liberation, to no longer live in the cycle of birth, aging, illness, and death, and believed this was the most perfect way to repay his parents for their birth and nurturing. Venerable Thich Tuệ began to practice eating one vegetarian meal a day and observing the 5 precepts for 6 months before ordaining. He mentally and spiritually prepared himself to ask his parents for permission to ordain. At that time, his parents called him back to formalize the procedures to divide the land among the 4 siblings. Venerable Thich Tuệ felt that the opportunity for ordination had come, so he hurried back home for the family meeting. He refused to accept any assets and only asked his parents to sign the permission for him to ordain. Initially, his parents were shocked and refused. He used his wisdom to explain and persuade his parents. After much pleading, Mr. and Mrs. Lê Xuân finally agreed to sign the permission. They said that ordination was extremely challenging, but if he was determined and steadfast, they would accept it. They only wished for him to practice diligently and never break his precepts or give up halfway, wishing him to complete his mission and soon attain enlightenment on the path to liberation. With the support of his parents and family, Venerable Thich Tuệ was overjoyed. He left behind a phone, a refrigerator, a guitar, and 8 meters of yellow fabric as mementos for his parents. He then bid farewell to his parents and family to begin his journey to ordination at the end of 2015. Initially, he sought ordination at a monastery in Ho Chi Minh City, following the Kutsi tradition, where he was given the Dharma name Thich Tuệ. He practiced diligently and worked hard at the monastery. After more than 7 months, feeling that the monastery's practice was not suitable for his abilities, Venerable Thich Tuệ asked for permission to leave the monastery to seek a new path. He then found a temple in Nha Trang, Thanh Hóa province, to continue his practice. Every morning, he would go on alms round for vegetarian food, taking only 1 meal at noon. After about a year of practice in Nha Trang, Venerable Thich Tuệ began practicing the 13 Dhutanga practices. Initially, he practiced barefoot walking from Nha Trang to Ho Chi Minh City and back. Why did Venerable Thich Tuệ vow to walk for life? In the early days of his ascetic practice, during his walks, he would occasionally take the bus when tired. In 2018, While returning to Nha Trang from Ho Chi Minh City, he tried to hitch a ride but was refused because he had no money. He then vowed, "I vow to walk for the rest of my life. Even if a car stops for me now, I will not take it." Miraculously, after his vow, a young couple in a 5-seat car stopped and offered him a ride. He politely declined, saying, "Thank you, but I have vowed to walk for life." Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ is a rare ascetic monk in Vietnam. From 2018 until now, he has walked 4 times from the south to the north and back. During the first 3 walks, few knew of him. The 4th time, however, many YouTubers and TikTokers followed his journey, filming and sharing it on social media, making him known to Vietnamese people domestically and abroad. With the image of a barefoot monk on alms rounds, eating 1 vegetarian meal a day, sleeping in cemeteries under trees or in abandoned houses, and wearing robes made from discarded cloth, he stands out. Holding a bowl fashioned from a rice cooker liner, he is unique. Importantly, Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ addresses everyone as Khan, child, regardless of age or status, always smiling and using Namo Adita Phut, homage to Amitabha Buddha, to begin and end conversations. Since his appearance, millions of people have been inspired to abandon worldly pleasures and practice Buddhism. With his compassionate heart, he lights the way for Vietnamese people to follow his noble virtues, bringing peace and prosperity to Vietnam and its people. 13 sayings of Venerable Thich Minh Tuệ that awakened millions of people. 1. I ordained to seek liberation. 2. Though I ordained, I only ask for 1 meal a day and do not accept money from anyone. 3. Though I ordained, the robes I wear are self-made from cloth I find at cemeteries and along roadsides. 4. Though I ordained, my alms bowl is made from a rice cooker liner given to me. 5. I ordained because life is impermanent. We live today, but who knows about tomorrow, so I must ordain early. If I die tomorrow, I won't have the chance to practice. 6. I ordained in the hope of attaining true enlightenment to repay my parents for their kindness. 7. I ordained because now I see everyone as my siblings and parents. I ordained so that my heart would no longer harbor selfishness, greed, and hatred, because I see everyone in this world as equal. 9. Though I ordained, if someone scolds me, I still consider them my friend. 10. I ordained because even if someone hits me, I still wish them well. 11. I ordained to advise everyone to strive to keep the 5 precepts: not to kill, not to steal, not to engage in sexual misconduct, not to lie, and not to consume alcohol or stimulants. 12. I ordained to wish happiness for everyone. Though I ordained, people should not bow to me, but rather bow to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha in all 10 directions.